Hello, I am going to give you an overview of languageology because I want to express my place in this whole thing, and yeah, it is different. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a guru, I'm not a leader. I'm a single individual, and yes, if you manage to have embodied language, you can talk with me after the 4th of July. And I hope you do the experiment that I am asking you to do. Yeah, the experiment in which you listen to yourself while you speak with yourself, so that you can get a sense like you have embodied language. And of course, when you listen to yourself and when you have embodied language, you experience something very different than what you usually have, because usually you have disembodied language. Yeah. And let me just go walk, because then I can see this background better. Yeah, I like to have that background, you know. So when you speak with yourself and when you listen to yourself, you realize like, wow, I wasn't doing that before. Yeah. And so once you do it, it's very clear that there's another way of dealing with language. There's another language, basically, because let's just face it, when you do not listen to yourself, you speak a different language than when you listen to yourself. Yeah. And so I hope you're gonna do it. But my call is unlike any other kind of appeal, because it's totally up to you. And I'm not going to do anything for anybody. I've already done what I could to bring this across, and this is it. I'm only making my videos, and I'm only singing my songs, and even that, you know, I only sing it when I feel like it. I only make a video when I feel like it, and if I don't feel like it, then I quit doing it. Such a nice sky. So, and as I've said, and I will probably make less videos and I write less, because I don't feel the urge anymore. And so, as I'm having that process in which my embodied language is so, yeah, you could say, so by itself, that I don't need to write or to say something on a video to have embodied language. I don't even need to have embodied language to know that I'm having embodied language. Yeah, that was a phase that I went through, that I felt like, oh, I need to let myself know that I'm having embodied language. And I believe everybody's gonna explore this you will have to let yourself know, like, yeah, now you're having embodied language. If you don't do that, nah, you're not going to have it. So the overview of my work is really that at some point in my life, I began to listen to myself, and I began to realize that this way of talking, in which I listen to myself and in which I talk with myself, this way of talking in which I talk with myself, that is how I want to, good morning, that's how I want to talk with others, and no other way. And when I said that for the first time, I immediately felt like, yeah, this is it. I have found it. I have found what I wanted to find. And no, I wasn't looking for it. I was already having a suspicion that this was possible from a very early age. From a very early age, I felt, ow. I felt like that everything was already there, and that I didn't need to do anything. But even though I felt that way, I also felt the conflict of my surroundings, my parents, my teachers, my peers. Yeah, you were supposed to do something. And so I felt that pressure, of course, also. Yeah, you have to do something. There are things that you need to do. And I never wanted to do them. I always was feeling resistant or reluctant to do what I was supposed to do. And I did as best as I could. I avoided doing what I had to do. It's kind of like the story of my life. Yeah, like when we were supposed to do the dishes after dinner, I ran away outside. I didn't want to do the dishes. I know it sounds obnoxious, and there is a fair amount of that. But it's much more than just something obnoxious. It was a sense that has always been with me, that there was no need to do anything. And yes, of course, dishes need to be done, I know. Your bed needs to be made, I know. And you need to make money and all that, I know. I'm not stupid, But what my objection was always against was that I felt a sense of happiness, just like, look where I'm standing right now, yeah? Look how beautiful this is, yeah? I've always had this sense that this is already here, this is already beautiful, this is already perfect. And I've always felt this way. There's nothing I can do to make it any better. This is just, I'm just happy to be here, I'm grateful. So I didn't have the words for it back then. I didn't have the language to describe it, but now I have. And yeah, such a beautiful sky. This is nothing special, of course. I mean, the sky is just the sky. I know. But here, this is the is a gully here where the water flows down when the rain is pouring. That was a while ago. Oh, I was going to tell you about the overview of my work, and so there are these two ways of dealing with language. For those who haven't heard it yet or haven't listened to my other videos, there's just this way of dealing with language which stems from when you do not listen to yourself. Then you listen to others. Then you want other people to listen to you. That's our usual way of dealing with language. And yeah, that is what everybody does. But this, what I'm doing right now, I listen to myself. That's embodied language. It's something totally different. And although I'm giving you an overview, I'm not gonna repeat something that I don't want to repeat when it comes to what this is. But as I've just said, in the first one, in disembodied language, you don't listen to yourself while you speak. It's just that simple. And in the second one, in this one, what I'm having, you listen to yourself. And it is just so marvelous that we can talk like that. Because there's no pressure, there's no struggle, there's nothing to accomplish. Yeah, there's no, there's not a preset goal or a preset purpose or whatever. Yeah, it's not predetermined. We are actually having a conversation, and the conversation is, taking on its own process. And I do not know exactly what I'm going to say next, but I'll find out as I keep speaking. And as long as I feel like speaking, I continue to speak. Yeah? And as long as I hear what I'm saying, I continue to talk, because I like to talk more when I like what I hear. Yeah? So that is what embodied language is. Embodied language is when you are free, when you are just unburdened by any kind of inhibition. You are liberated from any stress, any fear, any forcefulness, any coercion. You can just speak like this. And you can also be quiet. And this is not a spiritual thing. This is because spirituality is the replacement of this. Yeah, that you talk with some higher power, or with some God, or with some angel, or whatever it is that you believe. Yeah, some spirit, or all nonsense. You want to talk like this. Everybody can, of course, talk like this. But nobody does. Because they do not know that the difference is as simple as I have just explained. So, once again, I have set this date, the 4th of July, which is Independence Day in the United States. That's where I live. I'm an American. And I'm also aligned with American values, because freedom and individualism is something that came about in the United States. And there wouldn't be any freedom in Western civilized countries, Western democratic countries, if America hadn't made such a big stand for it, because that is still as true today as it has been in the past. And I want everybody to know that and to align with that, because embodied language is the language of individual freedom. And individual freedom is just something we talk about, we don't experience as long as we keep having disembodied language. So it is really possible for you to have embodied language, but you must do what it takes. And each individual must do what he or she can to have embodied language. And we have, of course, in the past talked about responsibility and accountability and consciousness and conscientiousness, willingness to cooperate. We've talked about all these things. About intelligence. We've talked about memory. People have endlessly referred to certain inner processes, because those are all assumed to be inner processes. Supposedly you have a mind and you think, but when you have embodied language, you don't think. You are completely without any thought. And going back again to my initial remarks, that I never wanted to do anything, I was also told, you must think before you do something. So you had to do something, but you also had to think before you do it. And I was never good at that. Or never good at it. I utterly failed in thinking before doing something. If I did something, I was just doing something. I know. But no, I was puzzled. I was confused. I was feeling infuriated. I was feeling frustrated because I did not understand, in the same way that I did not understand prayer. Because prayer I also didn't understand. I was raised in a Catholic family. But in the same way that everybody seemed to be okay with that you think before you do something, and seem to be able to succeed in that they had some sort of a thinking going on, and then they did what they thought was right, and then they succeeded in certain ways. More than me. I failed the most. I failed so in my own perception. Let me put it this way. I compared myself to others, and I said, even the people who are, you could say, dumber than me, they were still better than me when it came to thinking first. In any case, I just didn't get that. But only now, so many years later, 67 years old, do I realize there never was any thought, there never was any thinking. And this whole process that we have talked about, whether you call it consciousness or mindfulness or intelligence or whether you, yeah, it all refers to inner language which doesn't exist. And so I didn't think, because at an early age I already knew, I already felt, I already experienced that everything was already here. Here, just like I am already here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just here in this landscape. And I'm happy where I am. Isn't that nice? These blue flowers everywhere. Yeah. And so I only at this period in my life, or I'm able to catch up with what happened then. That I didn't want to do anything because there was nothing to do. And yet, of course, I was also just like everybody else, told to do things, and I felt like I had to do something, and I did many things, no doubt. But I always did what I did with a sense of with a sense of that it didn't really matter. And this was also something that I repeatedly got from my peers and from my parents and from my teachers up till this very day. What I say and what I do, it doesn't matter to people. But it matters to me. So
the colors were spectacular half an hour ago.
I saw that. I recorded it on my video this morning.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I missed that part. I was on my way over here. I live about a house up.
Oh, tomorrow you get another chance.
Yes,
there
that's
will be
right.
plenty times.
Yes,
Just
I'm taking lots.
go early in the morning.
Oh yes, I do. This morning I just couldn't get out.
Yeah.
I like it before sunrise.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
You enjoy your day,
Have a
man.
good
Thank
day.
you. Hi. What a nice meeting. So, do you need more overview? A while ago, when it was raining really hard and was a lot of water coming from the mountains, I was at the same spot, and then it was full of water. The water was rushing through here, but look how it now looks here. Look, yeah, it is It is empty, or yeah, maybe there's still some water here and there, but it's all dried up. It's like a small Grand Canyon. Such a nice spot. Just gonna park my bicycle for a while and walk around. It's so nice to be here in this environment that is shaped by the rain, by natural forces. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about the overview. What can I say to add to what I have already said? The sky. I add the sky to it.